Hi, I'm Bob McCauley. I live in the Neuse Bay, British Columbia. I'm a marine historian. All of my life I've been interested in marine history, and I've worked at different industries in British Columbia. I've worked for and volunteered for many different marine organizations in my career, and I think that's typical of most mariners. A lot of them start off by volunteering, and I'd like to share with you some stories about those groups. So in 1999, I decided I wanted to work at sea in some capacity, preferably for Coast Guard, but anyone would do, and the tugboats or BC ferries. I had to take a series of courses to qualify as a seaman. So you have your marine emergency duties. At that time they were A1, A2, B1, B2, which is firefighting, lifeboat drills, those kind of things. And you had to have your radio operator certificate and a current first aid course. So once I had all those things, I applied to BC Ferries, and they hired me right away in the summer of, I think it was 2001. And so they didn't hire me a lot like most casuals then, and you had to be on call for them and available to their call at every moment. And I probably got only maybe 10 days work the first year, and then 15 the next summer. And then after that, I had a full-time job with Coast Guard, so that ended our time with BC Ferries in 2003. But it was really enjoyable. I loved it. I was on the wheel as a quartermaster of most of the queens, Queen of Coquitlam, Surrey, Cowichan, and I worked on the Quinsam, the Gabriola ferry, quite a lot. That was a great trip because you had to be on Gabriola first thing in the morning, so they would pay for you to go the night before, and you stayed in a hotel. And then you got up at 6 a.m. and worked half a day. So it was really fun. It was like a little holiday. To work in the marine industry, you have to have certificates of competency and other documents. So I've got a whole bunch of them, and it kind of follows my career as I've worked on the coast. This one here is a certificate of competency. It's my bridge watchman certificate. These don't expire. These stay good as long as you're alive. And on this, you can work on any ship in the world, be a member of the bridge crew. You're not the captain, you're not the master, but you can be quartermaster, which means you're on the wheel or helping with other tasks. This one here, these are all of my medical certificates and marine emergency duties. And I have my 60-ton master's ticket, which enables me to work on the inside coast of Vancouver Island. I got this when I worked for a dive company, and I operated a 60-foot dive charter boat, and I could take passengers and take people diving from Victoria up to Port Hardy. This is my radio certificate. This isn't the regular restricted one. This is the maritime commercial certificate that you have to have, and it goes into a deeper understanding of the automatic information system and the marine multiple station identifier. I worked for BC Ferries for a time, and they do safety drills, which you have to be up to date on. So I've got my marine emergency duties from BC Ferries and the different drills documented. Also, whenever you work at sea, you should keep track of your sea time. You need that in order to get more certificates and to move up the ladder. This is my record from BC Ferry Corporation, and it shows all of the different trips that I made. As a casual, it was important for me to take this to the captain after every trip. He didn't even know who I was, and have him put the ship's stamp on it to certify that I'd worked that day and got the sea time. And I worked on the hovercraft for about 5 years for the Canadian Coast Guard, and I kept a log of that. The hovercraft is it's part ship, but it's part aircraft too, because it flies on air. So they recommended we use the pilot logbook in order to document all of the trips. So all of the different trips, I had the captain sign and date that we did, whether it was just going out or an actual mission. When I was a boy, my dad had a series of boats, and so been boating all my life. When I was a young adult in my early 20s, I wanted to become a better boater, and I joined up with Canadian Power Squadron and took their basic boating course in 1984. Since then, I've taken every course they offer, the weather, the seamanship, the advanced piloting, and celestial navigation. So I learned how to take sights on stars and planets and reduce them to a line of position on a chart. They were a great group. They really got me interested in navigation. And I also helped tutor with them for a time. I'd highly recommend Canadian Power Squadron's training courses to anyone. In 1999, I wanted to volunteer with search and rescue. I joined the Canadian Coast Guard Auxiliary, the Nanaimo station. And it's been a fantastic 23 years that I've been with them. We changed the name a number of years ago to the Royal Canadian Marine Search and Rescue, RCMSAR. That's what we go by now. Over the years, I've received much invaluable training from them, which has been great. The highlight of that training for most people in RCMSAR is to go to Bamfield and take the RIOT course. RIOT is an acronym for Rigid Hull Inflatable Operator Training. And you use the big Zodiac ribs, which is a rigid inflatable boat. And these are 30-foot vessels that have twin 150 horsepower motors on them usually. And you spend a week at Bamfield, and it's just fantastic. You go offshore, you can be in up to 30-foot waves, you can take the rib inside caves, you flip the boat over as if it capsized, and there's a mechanism to right it, so you learn about that. And just a fantastic week of training. One of the best weeks of your life if you ever get the chance to do it. And then we also do SAR exercises where we get together with other groups up and down the coast. We've hosted a couple of large ones in Nanaimo over the years. And of course, I give back by training new crews. We go out every week training new crews, basic crew, advanced crew level training. This page just came in while we were talking. It's a training page. I'm not going out today, but I knew about this training was going to happen at about 10 a.m. And so we do this page so that everyone knows that the boat's going out, and we're all waiting for them to come back in so that we know they return safely. If people took the boat out and no one knew, we might not find out if there was an accident until much later. With the Coast Guard Auxiliary, over the years, as part of the Nanaimo station, we used to have zones. I was up to the position of deputy station leader, and then we had to have someone to represent us at the regional table. So I was voted in as the deputy zone director. That was my first step with the board of directors of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. From then it went on. After a year it passed, and the position was open, and I became the director of operations regionally for the Canadian Coast Guard Auxiliary Pacific region. In time, we moved to a governance board, and then the position was changed from director to manager of operations for RCMSAR, and I held that role for many years as well. And I also worked on many different committees at the regional level. In fact, most of the work I've done for RCMSAR has been at the head office and with the board of directors. The Canadian Coast Guard was looking to make a new dive team in 2003, and I applied along with many other people. And of course, my years of volunteering with the Coast Guard Auxiliary was helpful, I feel, in that application. So I'd recommend volunteering to everyone. I was successful. I had some written exams to get in, and then I underwent a 6-week training program. Scuba diving, surface supply diving, entering overturned vessels to remove occupants, learning how to supply air to a person trapped in an air pocket and extract them. And then I got the job in September 2003 until 2008. I worked at the Sea Island Hovercraft Station, which is at YVR, the Vancouver airport. I still lived in Nanaimo. It was 4 days on, 4 days off, and that worked well. I just took at that time there was a fast ferry running, and at the base we have quarters that we can sleep in, and then back home for 4 days. So that was really exciting career, lots of exciting times, and it was really great. And then it led me on to other opportunities in the federal government after that. I got my open water scuba diving ticket in 1996, and that's helped me all my life. I went on to take dozens of other scuba courses, and now I'm a tri-mix diver, a mixed gas diver, and I do deep compression dives. I've been down to 240 feet on was my deepest dive. It helped me a lot, and then for a time I worked in the dive charter business on a vessel running from Nanaimo to Port Hardy and back, taking out divers on charters and helping them in the water. And then after that, later I worked for the Canadian Coast Guard as a rescue diver on surface supplied equipment. So diving's been great. And then after I finished that in about 2004, I still dive today, to this time, and I'm involved in the Underwater Archaeological Society. I enjoy marine history and seeing the artifacts that we can see underwater. In the late 90s, I joined the Underwater Archaeological Society of British Columbia, and with a friend of mine, we did a number of courses with them. There's a group internationally called NAS, Nautical Archaeological Society, and they have a standard of courses. We took NAS level 1, 2, and then 3. So it teaches you how to go underwater and lay a grid over a wreck and measure items and their compass bearings and distance to other, so you can come ashore and create a map of the wreck site showing where the artifacts are showing. Really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. And when you have that ticket and there's opportunity in the world, you could go to the Black Sea or the Arctic and you could volunteer there to be a diver and help them with their work.